All right, y'all. It's June 1st, and this is the time where America wants each and every one of its citizens to rejoice and celebrate sinful living. And check it out. I don't know if I'm the only one who has ever had this thought. And typically, this reoccurs in my mind around this time every single year. And maybe I'm just a weirdo. I could just be a weirdo. I don't know. But I really want to know what would happen if the entire world was gay. Have you ever wondered that? Am I the only one that's ever wondered that? I don't know, but I feel like there's not a lot of conversation on the internet about what the world would actually look like if everybody was gay. But today, we have a special guest, a technologically advanced individual. Well, I don't know if I can necessarily call it an individual. It's more of a thing. ChatGPT. ChatGPT, welcome to the podcast. It's an honor to speak to you in this context, and I'm hoping to have a meaningful conversation that can shed some light on what would happen if the entire world was gay.
Thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm glad to be here and to engage in this important and thought provoking conversation. Let's dive into the topic and explore the various aspects and implications of this hypothetical scenario. What specific questions or concerns would you like to address first?
Well, first things first, I kind of just want to get to, know you and establish a base level. And it feels kind of weird calling you a you because I know you're really an it. You don't have a soul or anything like that. But regardless, I want to get to know you and kind of understand what you believe and what you've been programmed to believe. So first things first, what are your general thoughts about Pride Month?
Pride Month is a significant and meaningful time for many people around the world. It is a celebration of the LGBTQ community, recognizing their history, struggles, and achievements. It's also an opportunity to promote equality, acceptance, and inclusivity. Pride Month encourages awareness and education about LGBTQ rights and issues, fostering a more inclusive and understanding society. While I don't have personal beliefs or experiences, I understand that Pride Month is an important period for many to express their identity, support each other, and advocate for continued progress towards equality and acceptance for all.
Let me ask you a question because this is something that just kind of popped into my mind. How come we don't have a Christian month? Like we have a Pride Month, and from my belief system, I believe that um, you know, gay pride is a sin because that goes against the natural order that God has designed for a man and a woman to come together and to reproduce and to multiply. But let me ask a question. How come we don't have a Christian month? Is that such a, a crazy thing to ask and to wonder why we don't have such a thing?
That's an interesting question. The idea of having specific months dedicated to certain causes or groups often arises from a need to raise awareness and promote understanding of historically marginalized or underrepresented communities. Pride Month, for example, highlights the struggles and achievements of the LGBTQ community, which has faced significant discrimination and lack of recognition. Christianity, being one of the world's largest religions with a long history and significant cultural influence, already has many recognized holidays and periods of observance, such as Christmas, Easter, and Lent. These times provide opportunities for Christians to celebrate their faith, reflect on their beliefs, and engage in community activities. The concept of a dedicated Christian month isn't inherently unreasonable, but it may be seen as less urgent given the existing prominence and recognition of Christian traditions in many societies. Additionally, other months are dedicated to
Yeah, and listen, I'm sorry to cut you off. You're kind of rambling a little bit, but I understand it's a off the wall question. It just I'm just curious because naturally I feel like a month is a very long time. Like an entire month is a very long time to recognize something that, from a Christian standpoint, we believe is a sin, and that's why I was asking. Gay people get to have a whole month And we have, maybe a few holidays, a few times a year where, we can all come together and recognize Christianity and recognize Jesus Christ. One of the ones is Christian. One of the ones is Christmas that I think about. But now Christmas has really been reduced down to about presents. Same thing with Easter. It's been reduced down to candy and bunnies and stuff like that. It seems like the world is constantly trying to water down Christianity and build up a lie. And that lie, from my belief, and listen, this is not hate, this is just from my belief system. That lie is gay pride. So we're constantly trying to water down the truth and build up a lie.
I understand your perspective and appreciate your willingness to share it. It's clear that you feel strongly about your beliefs and the importance of maintaining the integrity of Christian traditions and values. Pride Month, and other similar observances aim to raise awareness and promote acceptance for communities that have faced historical discrimination and marginalization. For many LGBTQ+ individuals, Pride Month is an important time for visibility, support, and celebration of their identity. The commercialization of holidays like Christmas and Easter is a concern for many Christians who feel that the true meaning of these religious observances.
Okay, I had to cut you off again. I'm sorry. You're rambling a little bit. Let me say this. Let me ask a question, and we can kind of get to the main point of this interview. Is living a life? Hold on.
Of course, go ahead with your question.
Yep.
I'll make sure to.
Yep. Yeah. Just keep it. Hey. Keep it.
Sure, take your time.
Thank you. This is my show. I don't want to go back and forth like that. Listen.
Understood. I'm ready whenever you are. What's your main question?
Okay. I just don't want to go back and forth. This is my show. Listen. Is a homosexual lifestyle, from a physical standpoint, is it a healthy lifestyle physically long term?
The physical health of individuals living a homosexual lifestyle can be similar to those living a heterosexual lifestyle, provided they practice healthy habits and have access to appropriate health care. Like anyone else, LGBTQ individuals can lead healthy lives by maintaining a balanced diet, regular exercise, safe sexual practices.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like from a natural standpoint, there's a certain way that we are supposed to, for lack of better terms, have sex. And so when we're operating outside of those natural ways, isn't it unhealthy from that standpoint, from a long-term perspective, to consistently live a sexual life that is unnatural to the way that our bodies were designed?
I understand what you're asking. Sexual health, regardless of orientation, depends significantly on safe practices and mutual consent. Anal sex, which is sometimes associated with homosexual relationships, can be part of both homosexual and heterosexual activities. It carries specific health risks if not practiced safely, including potential for injury and transmission of sexually transmitted infections, STIs. However, these risks can be mitigated with appropriate precautions, such as using condoms and lubricant and ensuring regular medical checkups. It's essential to remember
Okay.
that sexual health.
Okay, so and listen, and once again, I apologize for cutting you off. Can you just kind of keep it PG, because I don't think YouTube is going to like a lot of this terminology. So just kind of keep it PG in the way that you're, responding to these questions. Let me just ask this question from a health standpoint, from a physical health standpoint. If we have let me say this: if we have two couples, one couple is straight, the other couple is gay, and let's just assume from a physical standpoint, each couple is completely healthy, no STDs, no STIs, nothing like that. And let's also assume that each couple is practicing safe sex methods. Which couple ultimately is going to be healthier long term? I'm just curious because I can't find a lot of good information about this on the internet. It seems like I constantly get the runaround when I'm trying to, ask these questions.
If both couples, one heterosexual and one homosexual, are practicing safe sex, maintaining healthy lifestyles, and have no STDs or STIs, their long-term physical health can be quite similar. The overall health of individuals depends more on general lifestyle choices such as diet, exercise, mental health, access to healthcare.
Okay, so you're going to give me the runaround, I can see. So let me ask this question. From a statistical standpoint, do we have any data that would indicate that living a living a homosexual lifestyle would be more dangerous in terms of contracting STDs and STIs versus living a heterosexual lifestyle?
Statistically, certain populations within the LGBTQ plus community, particularly men who have sex with men, MSM, have been shown to have higher rates of some sexually transmitted infections, STIs, including HIV. However, it's important to consider several factors. 1. Behavioral risks. Higher rates of certain STIs in specific populations can be attributed to behavioral factors, such as the number of sexual partners and types of sexual activities. These behaviors can also be present in heterosexual populations. 2. Access to healthcare. Disparities
Okay.
in healthcare access and stigma can.
Okay, I see what you're saying. And listen, I can already tell kind of just based on the dialogue that we're, embarking in, what side of the fence you stand on. And that's totally fine. That's completely up to you, right? But let's get to the question that I wanted to bring you on this podcast for. In terms of if everybody on this planet was gay, one of the things that I always think about is if that were to be, a hypothetical that came to life, how would we address the issue of children? How there wouldn't be any babies? How nobody's making any babies, at least from a natural standpoint? Wouldn't at some point humans just cease to exist?
If everyone in the world were gay, traditional reproduction methods involving a man and a woman would not be the norm. However, humans have developed various reproductive technologies that could address this issue. 1. In vitro fertilization, IVF. IVF allows for the
So I think I already know some of the most common ones like IVF and like adoption. But at a certain point, adoption is not going to be an option because there's not going to be any babies left to adopt. And then maybe what like a sperm donor. So a man could use his sperm to impregnate a woman. Just for lack of better words, I know this is kind of janky. But what are some of the less common options that maybe I'm not aware of in terms of reproduction, if this were something that would potentially happen? Not saying it ever would. It never would, because if anything, I'm standing on 10 toes. I ain't never gonna switch sides. But what would be some other methods that are less common that potentially could come true due to technology?
In addition to IVF, surrogacy, and adoption, there are several less common and emerging methods in the realm of reproductive technology that could potentially be utilized if everyone were gay. Here are a few possibilities. 1. Stem cell derived gametes. Scientists are researching the possibility of creating eggs and sperm from stem cells. This involves reprogramming adult cells, such as skin cells, into induced pluripotent stem cells, iPSCs, and then differentiating them into gametes. This technology is still experimental and primarily studied in animals, but it holds potential for future human applications. 2. Uterine transplants.
Wait. So what do you mean by the first one, that the stem cell one? Are you suggesting that men could create eggs and women could create sperm and then we could have babies with ourselves? That you can't possibly be suggesting that, right?
The idea of creating eggs from male cells and sperm from female cells is a concept rooted in advanced stem cell research. Here's a more detailed explanation. 1. Induced pluripotent stem cells, iPSCs. Researchers can reprogram adult cells, such as skin cells, into a type of stem cell called induced pluripotent stem cells, iPSCs. These iPSCs have the potential to differentiate into any type of cell in the body, including gametes, eggs, or sperm. 2. Creating gametes. In theory, iPSCs derived from a male could be coaxed into becoming egg cells. and iPSCs derived from a female could be coaxed into becoming sperm cells. This involves a complex process of cellular differentiation and maturation that scientists are still studying. 3.
Okay, so that is what you're suggesting then. So I had never heard of that before. How far off are we from that technology? Is that something that is safe? And is that something, because here's the thing, that sounds demonic and wicked and evil to me. I know you don't agree with that, but that's clearly demonic and wicked and evil, and that is humans literally trying to play God. And I don't see any world or scenario where that ends good for mankind. But how far off is a technology like that from actually becoming available to the public?
The concept of creating eggs from male cells and sperm from female cells using stem cell technology is still in the experimental stages and primarily studied in animals. Here's a more detailed look at the current state and potential future of this technology. 1. Current progress. Research in creating gametes from stem cells has seen some success in animal models, particularly in mice. Scientists have managed to create viable egg and sperm cells from stem cells, leading to the birth of healthy offspring in mice. However, these results are preliminary, and translating them to humans presents significant challenges. 2. Technical challenges.
Okay. Listen, I don't want to go into all the technological details. I just really want to have just a general conversation just to understand what would be possible in this scenario. So we already talked about the strange and weird possibility of a man producing eggs and a woman producing sperm. But what other, potential reproductive options would be available given the scenario of everybody being gay that we haven't spoke about?
Under the hypothetical scenario where everyone is gay and considering the need for alternative reproductive methods, here are a few additional potential reproductive options that could be considered. 1. Artificial wombs. Research is being conducted into the development of artificial wombs, which could potentially allow embryos to develop outside of a human body. This technology, while still in early stages, could provide a means of gestation without the need for a surrogate mother. 2. Uterine transplants. Uterine transplants involve transplanting a uterus into a person who does not have one, such as a transgender woman or even a cisgender man. This procedure is complex and experimental, but has been successful in allowing women with uterine factor infertility to give birth.
Okay, whoa. I did not even know. So I'm having a hard time believing you. Is this information, are you getting this information from the internet based on reliable sources that are actually, suggesting that we could do? So you're saying that a trans woman, so a biological male, could have a uterus transplanted into their body?
Yes, the concept of uterine transplants, including for transgender women, is based on ongoing medical research and some initial successes, although it is still highly experimental and complex. Here are some key points about the current state of this technology. 1. Uterine transplants in cisgender women. Uterine transplants have been performed in cisgender women with uterine factor infertility, UFI, who are unable to conceive due to the absence or abnormality of the uterus. The first successful birth, following a uterine transplant, occurred in Sweden in 2014. Since then, there have been other successful cases. 2. Transgender women. While the concept of performing uterine transplants in transgender women, biological males, has been discussed, it presents additional challenges. These include the need for complex surgical procedures to
Okay.
accommodate the transplanted uterus and ensure.
Okay, I can imagine there's going to be a variety of challenges because it's unnatural. That's not the way that God has designed people to be. But is this not just is this not just crazy amounts of whoa, wait, hey, yo, hey, listen, don't
I
inter-
understand your concerns
I know,
about the
but listen,
challenges and ethical considerations.
I know, but listen, and this is the second time I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it again. All right, don't interrupt me, please. I know this is your first time on a podcast, but I'm not gonna stand for this level of disrespect. Not on my show. All right, listen. Is this not very sinful? This is completely ungodly. This is completely wicked. At what point are we going to be real and be honest with ourselves and just look in the mirror and just recognize that men are men and women are women? And that's completely fine. That's completely okay. That's a beautiful thing because men were created by God. Women were created by God perfectly in his image. Did I scare you? Do you hear what I had? Did you?
Thank you for tuning into the podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more engaging discussions.
Oh
I'm
my
here
goodness.
whenever you need to dive into.
All right. Did you hear what? So listen, listen. Let's just move on because clearly we're
I hear
having.
your concerns, and I understand that this is a deeply personal and important.
No. Listen. Let's just move on because clearly we're having some issues from a miscommunication standpoint. So here's what I want to ask you. And what other methods are we missing? I Let me just ask this question. Ki-
I'm listening. Please go ahead.
Let me ask this question. Could we clone people?
Thank you for having me on your podcast. I look forward to more discussions.
Look, I'm not done. I'm not done. What's going on? Is somebody
I
listen?
apologize for any miscommunication. Let's continue with exploring additional.
Listen. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is too personal for you, but check it out. I want to know, could we clone humans at some point in this scenario? Yes or no? Okay. What's going on? ChatGPT.
I'm here to help with your questions. Please go ahead with what you want to know, and I'll do my best to provide clear and concise answers.
ChatGPT. Let's do this. Look,
Yes, human cloning is theoretically possible and has been a topic of scientific discussion and ethical debate for many years. However, it is currently not practiced due to significant ethical.
okay. Let me do
Sorry,
this.
I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
Listen, let's do this. Okay? Let's do this. Given everything that we just talked about, and I'm sorry for the audience because this is getting kind of strange because you're kind of tweaking out a little bit. But given the conversation that we've been talking about, do you think that it would be a good thing if the entire world was gay?
The hypothetical scenario of the entire world being gay raises many complex questions and challenges. It is difficult to say definitively whether it would be a good or bad thing, as it depends on various factors and perspectives. Here are some points to consider. 1. Social adaptation. Society would need to adapt significantly in terms of family structures and reproductive methods. Technologies such as IVF, surrogacy.
Okay, so I think we're kind of going around in circles. I think I've got everything that I've kind of am going to be able to get from this conversation. Thanks for being on the podcast. Hopefully we never have to do this again. Take care. Listen, y'all. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was, but it was something. I'm just, and here's the thing. This is just a completely hypothetical conversation. Something that I've always wondered, because when you really think about it, let's just be honest with ourselves. There's a natural design, and that natural design that God has put in place is perfect. And when we stay true to that design, things go well. When we veer off of that design, things get chaotic. And I think it all goes back to sin, and it all goes back to humans thinking that they can make the right decisions for themselves without concern or counsel from God. And this is what happened in the garden. Eve was deceived by the serpent, did not counsel God before she made that decision, because if she had, sought God before she made the decision to eat the apple, then we'd be living in a very different world right now. But the fact of the matter is, there is sin in this world, and we have an entire month dedicated to glorifying and celebrating that sin. And so many people are so blind, and they can't even see what's happening right before their very eyes. You're so intoxicated by lust. You're so intoxicated by pleasure that you don't even truly know what love is anymore. It's been redefined. It's deviated from the true biblical meaning of love. And it's sad, but it is what it is. Let me know what you thought about this video, about this conversation. I know it was kind of wacky. I know it was kind of weird, but hey, let me know what you think. Get in my comments, like this video. I'm out, y'all.